Come to Remora TC to trade like a shark and not get eaten by one. Let's school together to protect and grow our money. Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. It is Wednesday, May 13th. We've got a dozen or so tickers to review, so let's get started. Triple Qs are the first ones on the list. I want to review for us what sort of baiting pattern took place over the past week or so. I put this note here, bait. It's not spelled very clearly, but it's there to remind us that the price action is meant to get us to buy in, to go long. So right now, I'm still very much wanting everybody to stay on the sidelines and don't get too excited to buy in, because it's really, check the volume down here. Over the past, let's say 3 weeks, it's about 44, 43, under 45 million a day. Whereas you can see much further back in the March timeframe, much more volume. So the buying volume, all this action here, is relatively muted, small. When we look at the weekly chart, each candle is a week. You can see that all this purchasing off of this trend line has been on relatively low volume, okay? So what that tells me is this will fail. It'll come back down, retest this trend line again. So I'm wanting for us, right? If you had come in when I said there was some bullishness, hence I put the whale, and then you took it off of this trend line, then great, you've done well for yourself. You would have been, let's say you took it off this trend line, you'd be about 20%, around 20% up, okay? But at the moment, where we are now, it's not the time to buy in. You need to purchase in when you're on support. So right now, it's not the time, okay? So just wait, because prices will come back down, and then we'll revisit it to see if it's an opportunity to go long. I'm going to, let's see here. This is no longer in play. I'll leave it there. But I will extend the lower one here. Okay, so that is going to be a magnet. Let's go to Microsoft. All right, I put a couple whales here since the February and March timeframe, informing you that the momentum is changing. You can see here. And then this was the price movement against the bears, just to get them to close out their shares. And then, against the longs. So they wanted some liquidity. They pushed price down below, got the longs worried, they sold, and then the whales were able to purchase it back up and go up and up and up. Okay. I talked about this zone here being support, hence I put the green here. It still remains support, okay? The overall direction, in my assessment, continues to be to the upside. So I'm going to leave this arrow here. Okay, actually, in fact, I'll just slide it over. So from where we are now, I still think the overall direction, actually, give me a second here. I'm going to leave that one there because that was the original one that I drew. And then just draw a new one here, okay? So overall direction is to the upside. Price will likely test the 200-day moving average of here. All right, so further upward movement for Microsoft. Let's switch over to the gold play, GDX. I'm still bearish at the moment for GDX. You saw this flagging action. It failed. It's coming back, retesting this zone here, which is going to pose resistance. There's no change in momentum. So we're still playing out this momentum move here. So overall, the direction is to the downside. I'm going to move this guy over like this. Okay, overall to the downside until it comes down here to test support. Here's the 200-day. It'll move over like this, but there may be a reaction there. But really, it is a further low prices for GDX. Over to Bitcoin, it's behaving as I predicted. Talked about this baiting pattern as well as a resistance zone here. At the 200-day, you can see the 200-day has been continuing to trend down. So I'm just going to leave this here, the annotation in red here that it is resistance. And I expect price to continue to get rejected and move down further. If anything, let me just extend this flag a little bit. It's kind of like that. It's not a science. It's art, really. So there we go. So just expect price to break underneath this upper trend line, upper part of the flag, and then further low prices for Bitcoin. I'm going to move this over. Okay, this is the other part of the flag, depending on where price breaks. So I'll just kind of leave it here for now, anticipating where price might break. Okay. And if you've been following my channel since November, I talked about 58 as a target, and then the next target is 42. So let's see how it plays out. But right now, not a long play for Bitcoin. American Express, this is one of the financials. Big whale here, informing everybody of the bullishness coming in. Price then indeed got pushed up into the 200-day resistance here. You can see it failed, but it failed from the perspective of it's coming back down to fill the gap here. Okay, so on this day here, which was 7 April, price gapped up. Okay, created a gap. Here you go, and price is just coming down to fill it. It's almost there. Likely it will fill it and then resume the upward move. I'm going to clean up this 200-day a bit. It's a little bit, it's moving more horizontally at the moment. So I'll just kind of go like that, make it blue. And I expect price to, excuse me here, as I clean this up. I expect price to come up to the 200-day at least, but I think it will actually come up to this zone up here. I'll move this over. There you go. It should be the first zone of resistance at about 343. LGEN is the next one, also a financial. This one is playing out a little bit differently. It has a slightly weaker bullishness. So even though there's a bullish pattern here, bullish indication down here, I put a smaller whale, not a big one to gulp, to get us to want to jump in. At the moment, there's this huge gap up here, okay? Price is coming down, and it's not super convincing from a bullishness in this zone here. So I think it may come down and retest. Let me slide this over for where we are now. It may come down and retest this down here, okay, before moving back up. So in the short term, it's moving down. Maybe in the medium term, it'll come up and finally close the gap, okay? All right, that is LGEN. Over to Northrop Grumman. Okay, Northrop here. It's continuing to play down here in this zone of, I'll call it, where this bullish flag is. So the bullish flag is a certain pattern where I expect price to want to push upward, okay? There is only a little bit of bullishness here. And I'll just move this rail down. It's not a lot of bullishness. I think price still has more room to move down to this gap fill before some more convincing bullish momentum comes in to move price upward, okay? So for now, I'm going to, let's just clean this up a little bit, remove that so that's less confusing. Let's remove this guy. And then I'm going to keep this annotation down here. I think there's more weakness to come before it moves upward, okay? I think they really want to flush people out before they get the next wave of buying to come in. Okay, so I'll go like this. So I think there's some further downside before pushing it back up. Okay, so I'm watching this down here. There's not a lot of bullishness. It's only a little bit, hence I only put this little guy. All right. Let's look at, oh, you know what? I'm going to pause a second here. I'm going to add two tickers. Let's add LMT, it's Lockheed Martin. And let's also add Raytheon. Also a defense stock, RTX, defense contractor. I talked about them last week, as I will add them this week for us to review. So let me do that now. Move them up real quick, and you'll get to kind of see my assessment here. Okay, so my annotations here for Lockheed have been there for a while. The last time I did a Lockheed video was probably in this zone when I talked about support here. So I'm putting them back onto the list here to help us understand the sector. So I'm looking at the zone here, and I can see that price is moving downward. The lows are lower, whereas the RSI is showing some increasing momentum. I'm going to annotate it like this. Okay, so it's not a lot of upward momentum, but it is the beginnings of it. I'll put put this as green. So there is some bullishness here. I'm going to put a small small whale. The whales are my way of saying the big fish are wanting to buy in. Okay, I'm going to put a small one. All right, and the reason for that is, I'm not saying there isn't bullishness. There is, but I do see some further downside. I'm going to slide this over like this. This purple line, let's go to the weekly. This purple trend line down here, okay, is a very old one. A lot of touches along here, you can see that. You can see a lot of dancing along here. It goes back to this zone here, which is 2019. Okay, some touches here, 2019. This is the weekly candle. So what I see happening is price broke down underneath it, and it fought back and reclaimed it. So right now, I think the real behavior is, price will continue to use this purple trend line as support. I think the entry long for us, I'm going to make this, so this is the weekly, the daily, going back to the daily. I think there's some further low prices. Okay. We're not done with the low prices yet, but I would love for us to get an entry long down here. So I'm going to put this like this. Okay. You see it there. So how we're going to play this, my recommendation, I'm not a financial analyst or stockbroker. I'm just a guy that likes to share my opinion. So I'm going to see this played out. It's playing out. We're going to allow price to come down. It will come down. Okay. It may take a couple of days, hit the 200-day, get rejected further. Here's the 200-day. It'll reject here, which is fine. We want it to reject because we want price to come down here so we can take a long down here. And there will be more bullishness. That's what I anticipate. With that, I think the target would be this upper part of the trend line would be the next target. So let price come down. So it's about a 6% move down. And then if we were to move up, right, the risk reward down here up is, let's say it's a 2% loss here with a 15% gain up here. So that's a really good risk reward. Okay. So pay attention to that. That's Lockheed. Let's look at Raytheon. Raytheon here. Let's zoom out real quick. All right. So I had it here with the big shark here to go along with the bearishness. Price then behaved as expected from a bearish moving standpoint. It moved down, hit the 200-day, came down. It's retesting the 200-day from underneath. So the way I would look at this is this flag. Okay, let's make it black, make it thicker so we can look at it. There's the thick flag. It's doing this action here. Okay, it's flagging up, it's flagging pattern. Like that, flagging pattern. Like this. Okay. Then you've got the 200-day here. Zoom in real quick. Oh, let me redo that one. It's kind of like that. Okay, 200-day there. Make it blue. What I see is going to happen is the flag is going to continue, this flagging pattern. So let's duplicate this guy, right click, clone, move it down to wherever I think price will break. So wherever price breaks, okay. Okay, so let's say price breaks here or price breaks down here. Look, support down here at 148. Okay, so that's the current target. Now, you should ask me, but John, don't you see any bullishness, any bullish divergence? Oops. So let's take a look if there's some bullishness. All right, so I'm going to zoom out here. I'm looking at this down here. Okay, so here's a low, another low. Okay, so there's a little bit of bullish divergence here. Okay, let's make this my usual green. Okay, so there's a little bit of bullishness here, but this is not a lower low. So these are actually higher lows. I'm looking at the reds here. Okay, so this low right here and this low. So low and a lower low. So this low coincides with this point here. So yeah, so there's a little bit of divergence here, okay, bullishness. I'm not even going to put a whale here because it's not enough. This bullishness is really just a flag moving up into resistance. So I'm going to put the resistance here. And yeah, you can see the resistance already. It got rejected, okay? So there's resistance there, resistance all along here, okay? And then it will fail. So for Raytheon, the behavior is different from Lockheed Martin. The behavior on the target is further downside, okay? So I'll just kind of draw it like that. All right, it's going down. All right, so then that makes me question. Let me go back to Lockheed Martin real quick. So is there some bullishness? Yes. Hence I put the small whale. But I think the bullishness will only take Lockheed perhaps up to this gap fill. Okay. All right, so they're just behaving a little bit differently, but the flag will continue. So I'm going to flag this one, make a flag on this one too, just to be consistent with how I did Raytheon. So we'll go like this, make it a fat one, switch it to black. Okay, so there's the flag. It's not the same looking flag as the Raytheon one, but it's there, okay? It's kind of like that. So then if we clone this, right? Clone. Wherever it breaks down here, let's say it breaks over here, target down to about low 400s, okay? So further low prices for Lockheed, Raytheon, and Northrop. So Northrop's the only one that has the potential to move up. So for now, let's watch it, okay? Sorry guys, I'm just kind of jumping back and forth, comparing the different stocks within the defense sector. So Northrop, some bullishness, but perhaps after it goes down into this gap fill, okay? Lockheed, only a little bit of bullishness until it hits the gap fill and the 200-day, so around this zone, and then it'll get rejected. And then further low prices, okay? And then over to Raytheon, same thing, further low prices. So really, these defense stocks, don't listen to the news. They're going to suck you in, okay? All right, let's go over to the XOM Mobil play. I've been talking about this one for a long time, about the baiting. They're not baiting us as hard, okay? So it's just trending sideways, and I think it's just further low prices. You can see that, all my annotations here are the warning up here, the further warning for the second attempt to get liquidity up here so that the sharks can continue to sell. But they really haven't done that really well. So right now it's just trending sideways, and then I think it'll fail, continue downward. So I'm going to remove this bait for now. I don't think it'll even reach that zone. Remove that. Let's remove this guy just to clean up the annotations so that you all don't get too confused. Like that. Now, if you're able to join the sharks, I would really recommend this zone here. If you can join the sharks for the selling play, if they can push price up for you and for me to get an entry up here, that would be a lovely entry, okay? That would be a 24% drop down to this support down here with, I'll call it minimal risk, okay? But we will watch it closely, okay? I'll move this over here. Resistance up there still. All right, last one is Whirlpool. And this one, if you've been watching it, you should tell me, especially in my comments, but I haven't gotten the trolls yet. So the trolls haven't started to troll me. I'm in this trade long, and I talked about how this purple trend line would be an amazing entry long, and there is this bullishness here, bullish divergence, hence I put the whale. Now, what we can see, which is very interesting, is how they push price down quite a lot. And check out the volume. So I want to talk about two concepts. One is what to do when price moves against you, okay? And then the second one is volume in this situation. So I said this is a great zone to go long because the exit is about 50% up, okay? The gap fill up here. But we can see that price gap down. Gaps are only done by big fish. The little guys like us cannot do gaps. And the reason is, in order to create a gap, we have to be able to, in this case, sell price at such a high volume that excuse me, give me a second here. How do I explain this? Only the big fish can move price, okay? And only the big fish can do gaps during the non-normal trading hours. So the pre-market and the post-market are when big gaps are created, okay? So what you can see here is at price open on this day here, okay, May 7th, price gap down all the way here to 45, okay, about 44 or 64. And then you can see, look at this big volume, 13 million for Whirlpool, whereas all of this volume is 2 million, 3 million, 1 million. You can see it in this upper corner here. That's how much it is, okay? So it's very low. So what this tells me is this is a island cluster bottom, meaning all this price action down here was meant to get all the longs, all the people who are accumulating shares in this horizontal time frame here, including me, telling everybody, hey, this is time to go long. Hence, I put the whale. But they knew that. So what they did was they gap price down with the intention to get everybody's stop loss to be triggered. That means if you're trading with a stop loss, then you inform your trading platform that if price moved a certain percentage or down to a certain price, right? In this case, we're going long, so you would put a stop loss at, let's say, at the bottom of this right here, of this candle, okay? So we're at this trend line here, and perhaps you would say, oh, at the bottom of this candle, which is about 50.75, I'm out, sell all my shares. And what they did was they gapped it very substantially below this point here, okay? Knowing that people would put their stops here. They gapped it all the way down here. And what did they do? Boom, they got the volume. Thank you, ma'am. Everybody here, everybody that accumulated here sold their shares. And then look at this volume here. The sharks bought back in at a discount. Okay, so everybody sold, everybody that was here sold and bought at a discount. I'm actually still in this position because I didn't, depending on my trade, I may or may not use a stop loss. Okay, it just depends on the trade setup. In this case, I gave it plenty of wiggle room. Okay, so I'm still in this trade, and you might say, "Wow, John, you are about 25% down," but my position size plays into it as well. So depending on how big your position size is, if you normally, let's say, trade, let's say you trade $500 is your trade, is your normal trade size. Then if you're not going to use a stop loss, perhaps take a smaller position. Okay, so instead of doing a full position, you might do a quarter position because you're wanting to get a little bit more conviction. I had a lot of conviction for this one, hence I put the whale. But at the same time, I took a smaller position size. Okay, so I'm still in this trade. I'm hurting, as one would say, but I see the accumulation here, and I'm going to write it out a bit more and want to be convinced before I sell. Now, I want us to focus down here. Okay, so let's look at this point here, March 20th, and I'm just going to open this up real wide for us, just the RSI. Okay, so this is March 20th. It's down here, and then you notice how in the past couple of days, May 11th, the momentum is higher. So I'm going to move this over like this. Okay, and then let's go back. You can see when I go back, there's a lot of bullishness here. So I'm going to add a second whale. In fact, I have even more conviction here. Copy. Can I just clone? Okay, so I'm going to put a second one here. A lot of conviction. So I'm not telling you that this is a good spot to go long. In fact, it's not. The best area to go long is along this purple trend line. So let's wait. For those who are not yet in this trade, wait. Okay? Wait and watch. So wait and watch. I'm still very bullish on this. In fact, I'll go down like this. Okay? But the entry is along the top part of this purple trend line. Okay? So don't jump in now because this is not the time to jump in. Okay? Now, one other area we need to look for is where is the next zone of support. So I'm going to go all the way back. Let's go back in time here. Give me a sec. Give me a minute. Go all the way back. How many years do we have to go back? Okay. We're going to go back. All right. So we're going to go back to this time frame, which is 2009. Holy smokes. But you can kind of see how price danced along this area. Okay. I'm going to switch to the weekly, in fact. Let's go to the weekly chart. Look at the 2009 time frame. This dotted line here, you can see this dotted line here. That's today's price. So it is bouncing along. You can see there's support there. And you can see support here. So it's very interesting. Look, support here. So where price is now, okay, so I'm going to just circle these for us to remind everybody. Support here. Okay. A lot of similar price action battling, but you can also see support here. Look at that. Okay, support here. It's hard to draw with this mouse, but there you go. You know what? I'm going to draw a horizontal line here. I kind of like it. Let's just draw this horizontal line, like right there. Okay. And then let's go back, zoom out. This is still the weekly. Okay. Yeah, look at this. This horizontal line was resistance all along here. This is a legit line, people. Okay. Oops. Delete this guy real quick. All right. This horizontal line. Yep. And all along here. So what you should ask is, where are we right now? Oops. We are, this is the weekly. Wow. We are just below the horizontal line. Okay. So we are, technically speaking, we are at resistance. So with resistance, definitely do not take a long here. This is resistance. Don't buy in here. Okay. So right now I'm still in the trade. It's resistance. If price continues to fail, then you know what? I need to find the next zone of support here. Let's go back. Wow, all the way to 2009. Go to the weekly. All right, so the next zone of support looks like this one right here. See this? So it's a lot of eyeballing. So I'm going to go like this. The next zone of support is about here. Okay, goes back from a weekly chart standpoint. So let's go to where we are now. And we will annotate it as that is the next zone of support, okay? So take a look. So from where we are now, we are underneath zone of resistance, but this is going to be a bear flag. So however it's going to be drawn, it's going to be like that, and okay. So we'll see. We'll see how the flag plays out, but we're paying attention to the pattern, okay? And I'm paying attention to it because I'm long, so I'll have to see where my tolerance is for any further move downward, okay? So those are the tickers. I spent a little bit of time looking over the defense sector. Hope you enjoyed that. If you found that this video was useful, give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, click the bell notification, let your friends and family know about it, and always good luck with your trades.